Hello and welcome back to Wingot Plays Nomifactory. Unfortunately at the moment I have come down with the spicy cough, so you may hear some coughing. My voice probably sounds a little bit different to normal, but continuing on, and we will see what we can do. Sorry if there are any difficulties though due to the virus. I have, between episodes, as I said, I have worked on setting up ore processing, and downstairs here I've got a ore processing system where any input that comes in, such as into this ender chest, gets sorted either to items that we want to. Yes, there's ore dictionary filters here on a lot of various machines, and it basically gets sorted into items that we do want to go through the processing system and ones that we don't. So here on the ore dictionary, anything that's an ore gets to go into this chest here. And anything that isn't an ore, blacklisted, goes in here and just goes straight into the output chest. Anything that is an ore then gets pulled into the macerator here and broken down into crushed ores. And then the various crushed ores, and also the products that are made other than crushed ores. So for example, that stone dust there, and this nickel can also produce cobalt. Those items will just bypass straight to the end of the system. But anything that is a crushed ore goes in here and waits to be further processed in the ore washing plants. However, if bauxite shows up in here, then it doesn't go through the ore washing plants. It instead goes up here into the thermal centrifuges. Because if we take a quick look at bauxite, the bauxite can make crushed bauxite ore, grossular dust, and stone dust. That crushed bauxite ore, if you pulverize it, if you ore wash it, becomes purified bauxite ore, which then can become purified pile, which then just becomes bauxite dust. But if you instead centrifuge it, then you get this centrifuged bauxite ore, and that pulverized gets you bauxite dust, which you already had, but it also has a 14% chance of gallium dust. And these machines are pretty much all HV tier, and so I think that's a 28%. It might actually be double that again, 56%. But we processed up, that's grossular dust, bauxite there. There's 10,000 bauxite ore sitting there. But there's also 2,500 gallium dust sitting here in this straw now. So we have, through processing our bauxite through this thermal centrifuge here, we have solved our bauxite issue, because previously, our gallium issue. There's a double L. Because gallium is used in making silicon balls, it's used in making the diodes, and the diodes are used. Am I missing something? Oh, okay, yes, it's small pulse. Are used to make the diodes and the SMD diodes, and those are used for all of our various refined processors and various tiers of them as well. The nano processors, which we haven't yet made, the microprocessors will use them. So yeah, even quantum processors are going to use the SMD diodes. So we're going to need a fair bit of gallium over time. As well as which, the gallium itself is used to make indium gallium. There was something that the gallium itself is used for. It might be gallium plates. Hot vanadium gallium. Yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head here. But there was definitely... Oh, gallium plates are used for the SMD transistors. So the SMDs do use a fair amount of gallium, but now that we've got 2,000 gallium sitting up there, it's less of an issue. But anything that isn't bauxite goes into these ore washing plants and then comes out as purified ore. And the purified ores then just... I don't know why there's a second chest of purified. I think that might just be because of the way that I've set this up, so that the macerator here is just pulling straight out using a robot arm. So I think that is feeding into that chest. But then there's this row of macerators here, and this row of macerators taking the purified and making purified piles, which then goes into a chest and into a centrifuge where the purified pile becomes the dust itself. And then finally, over here, we've got a chest where all of the tiny piles, all of the dusts and all of the tiny piles come into here. And then anything that isn't a tiny pile makes its way up into this chest up here. And so any small piles that we get, so we've got a packager here, which is taking, it's got a robot arm here, which is taking 9 items at a time from the steel chest here. And so whenever there's 9 items, it grabs them and turns and converts them. In this case, it's converting the tiny piles into dust. And then this one here is doing the same thing with that packager at the back. And so it's grabbing 4 at a time. If you ever get 4 items there, it'll pull them in and convert the 4 small dust into the dust as well. And then all of that gets put into this steel chest, which then gets imported up into the drawer system. Perfect. We haven't yet fixed dense iron ore. So dense iron ore comes from processing the... it comes from using the small microverse projector. We get this dense ore. The rest all get processed perfectly fine. And in fact, there is more galena there as well. We get 64 galena each time we run this small microverse, which then converts into 2 crushed galena each time. And then that becomes 1 dust. Yeah, I suspect... Wait, that's galena, that's not gallium. Ignore me. Yeah, fine. So, yeah, that's just gallium. But this is also a way that we can get salt, which was something that we needed over there. It's fairly cheap to get salt. Salt's only 5 pennies, but it's fine. It at least is a source. And then we're getting these other various things. But as I say, the dense iron ore is not automated yet. Because to process dense iron ore, we would need a chemical reactor. And the chemical reactor would need nitric acid. Nitric acid we could create using just water and nitrogen dioxide. And nitrogen dioxide you can make with just oxygen and nitrogen. So that would be fairly simple to actually set up this processing chain. Because you can get both of those from a air collector. And water is easy to get as well. So we could process these. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Otherwise, we somehow got 10 draconium dust, which I don't quite get, because as far as I can tell, the only way we should have got it is from ender draconium ore, and we've never been to the end. And I suspect that I did do a chunk of mining myself up on the moon, just after the last episode, I believe. I also imported everything that we had from the overworld, which previously was just sitting in a chest, in a crate over here that I've removed. And we also had a vertical digger in the overworld, in the Lost Cities domain, that dug up basically a whole chunk. But we also, in fact, let me not be an idiot and actually put on the spacesuit this time, because the number of times I've died or almost died by going to the moon is not 0. Okay, take those off, put those on. There we go. Now, if we head to the moon, perfect. I set up over here the vertical digger as well. And so this vertical digger dug a 13 by 13? No, it was more than that. I think it's 17 by 17 area surrounding it. And I'm guessing that there was some draconium ores down there somewhere that it's managed to pick up. Because I just can't figure out another source that we would have had for where that could have come from. I have been keeping an eye on this. We've not even used a bucket of the Dew of the Void yet, so we can basically ignore the Dew of the Void here for quite a long time, because I've teleported back and forward here probably 6 to 8 times, and we still haven't even used a whole bucket. So of course I'll keep an eye on it over time, but it does not look like we use all that much when we're going back and forward. I'll have to grab that vertical digger or relocate it, but for now it can just stay there because we're not using it. But all of those ores that I had from that vertical digger, the vertical digger back when it was in the Lost Cities, the various ores that we had still sitting around unprocessed, and the couple of runs of the microprojector completely filled up this steel chest and this ender chest, and I set up this ore processing system, and you can see I've expanded it a few times by adding more machines. Originally this ore process, so yeah, I had this ore processing system running, and even with the various expansions that I made as I noticed things being slow, I left the game running for 24 hours, and you can see it still has not managed to process everything yet. It's getting pretty close. I will admit, it's actually getting pretty close at this point. But it was so backlogged, all of those ores that we had not processed. And if we set up the microprocessor, what are they called? Micro galaxies? Microverse? The micro miners. If we set them up to run basically all the time, or even one every maybe 10 minutes, that ore processing system would not be able to keep up. So we're definitely going to need to upgrade it as soon as we get access to EV, I think. But over here, I've still got all of our assembling and processing stuff. It's still all the MV tier, and I'm thinking that it can be upgraded once we get... I don't think it's worth upgrading it for the HV tier. I think it'll be worth upgrading it maybe every second tier. So once we hit the EV tier, which I think is what comes after HV. Let's just quickly put away the spacesuit. Now, speaking of the HV tier, I was having a bit of a look through, and the Into the Microverse, it finishes with the end here. It wants us to go to the end. It also has the various ultimate components, ultimate catalysts, conflux catalysts, and ultimate extended crafting table. But tier 4 micro miner, yeah, we would need to get to the tier 4 micro miner before we even have access to that. Sorry about that. And the ultimate components require the uranium plates, which I think I showed on the last episode are quite tedious for us to get at this stage. So I'm going to hold off the rest of the ultimate crafting, but we should probably head to the end. The end portals and strongholds at Sable. The only way to access the end is to bake a cake. You can refill it with Eyes of the Ender. Prepare some gear, ear to slice, and get ready for a fight. So, let us make an ender cake so that we can head there. We're going to need Eyes of Ender. We've taught the system how to make those, so let's tell it to make 100. Because we've got plenty of ender pearls and blaze, I'm fairly certain. And then, what do we need? We need a cake base. I don't think... System doesn't know how to make milk, but we can... Let me look. Cow in... There is no cow in a jar. And milk can come from spawn cow eggs with a fluid extractor. So the easiest option for now is pop downstairs and see if we've managed to spawn a cow somewhere. I thought we had, but I don't see it at the moment. And if we haven't, then I'll need to head into the overworld to grab a cow and a bucket of milk. I swear we did have a cow, but probably it was annoying me, making sounds, and so I killed it. Because if they get too annoying, then they don't get to continue living. I do not see a cow anywhere around, so I think I'm going to have to head back to our Lost Cities base and collect the milk from there. Unless, do llamas make milk? Like, I think in real life, llama milk is a thing. Nope. But this overworld cake, all it takes is oak saplings, so we've got no trouble refilling that. And then over here, what are you doing on the outside? Anyway. And then we don't even need to use the void cake to get back, we can just use the home command. Perfect. There we go. And so if we put that into here, that'll make a cake base, and then that should allow us to make an ender cake. End cake. Perfect. Now, I'm really not sure what's going to be involved with this fight. I should probably make some sort of bow, I would expect. Lapis bow, superstar bow. I don't know what we can make. Tier 3 I don't have I do have tier 3, so let's see what we can make. That'll take wither bones and nether stars. I don't think... Well, we can make nether stars, but it's not exactly cheap. We can make wither bones, no trouble. Lapis bow, show me that. Bonus arrow damage is neg 1.5. So it does less damage? And has less durability? It seems like it's worse than the standard bow. Bow the wyvern, we definitely can't make wyvern cores and draconic cores. Ender bow, we probably can make. Dark bow. String, nutritious stick, skeletal contractor. Well, I'm pretty sure we can make the dark armor, so it's probably worth looking into. Flux, 120 EU, flux electron blend. Oh yes, we don't have mana dust yet, but I'm sure we could make it fairly soon if we tried. Nutritious stick is stick with nutrient distillation. Nutrient distillation is any mob head, water, and mushrooms, or nether wart, or sugar. Sugar and any skull. Okay, well, sugar is easy. What was that? So that was the nutritious stick. Actually, it's the nutrient distillation. So we need sugar and we need creeper, or any head. Creeper, that'll do. That will produce sugar. Where's sugar? 500 millibuckets. Now 500 millibuckets is half of what we need. So we're going to need to run it 4 times, yep, in order to get 2 buckets, so that we can make a dark bow. Okay, and a skeletal contractor, we would need a slice and spice, which needs tungsten steel, and alloy smelter, tungsten steel. Okay, tungsten steel, I think we need a vacuum freezer. So maybe we can't make the dark bow. The ender bow is a dark steel nuggets. The system knows how to make dark steel, doesn't it? Yeah, okay. So, I guess the ender is not... Durability 300, 1 million. Like, it seems like the ender bow is the stronger of the two, but we would still need to make a slice and splice. So that should be fairly... no, that still needs tungsten steel. So we can't do either of those with our current setup. The flux infused, I needs the mana dust, that's right. So I think we're probably just going to go for a standard Minecraft bow, Frank. It's boring, but it seems to be the plan. So standard Minecraft bow, which is also going to need arrows. And what are all of these? Night vision, invisibility, jump boost, fire resistance, speed, slowness, water breathing, instant health, instant damage, poison, regen, strength. Made with potions of strength. Yeah, okay. Seems a bit confusing for the time being. Well, as in a bit too much. But we will come back to it later on. I think I'm going to have to take a good look at that Armor Plus mod. Although it's not just Armor Plus. Yeah. Applies slowness, sets on fire, applies wither. Yeah. We'll have to take a look at it later, but for now, can just do that. Apparently we've got a feather shortage. And oh, we can get arrows from skeleton matter. That's probably what we should do. I don't think 16 is going to be enough. Which one's... Now the question is, which one is skeleton? What is this one? Blaze. Oh yeah, Blaze isn't running. Skeleton matter. Produces bones, arrows, tin. So it's the tin one that we're looking for. That could be tin. That's ghast. Okay, that must be silver. There you go, that's tin. So let's change this one over temporarily because it looks like tin's completely backed up. And then as soon as we get another skeleton matter in here, we'll be able to tell it to make us some arrows. There we go. And while we're at it, we can go tell the system that arrows get to go into... Let's just put them here. And then that'll fill up with the arrows and we'll have access to them from the AE system. And it'll stop producing tin, but we're full on tin anyway. Now, let's have a quick look here. What can we do? Oh, we can't use the arrows in there. We can only use books in there. Let's have a look over here. Oh, arrows can't be enchanted. Fine. What about the bow? The bow, multi-shot, insight, unbreaking. I think we'll just ignore it for now. Anyway, if we have a look, I realise we're 20 minutes into the episode, but if we look at the clipboard here, you can see that my current plan is to go to the end, get access to dislocators, and that will reduce our requirement on the telepads and the Jewel of the Void, but we will have these telepads set up in various locations and probably have a teleportation room or something like that. But the dislocators particularly will be handy for being able to get back when we're out and exploring. Because, yes, we've got the home command, but I prefer to actually use an item rather than the home command, which feels a bit cheating. But what have we got here? So we've made the end cake, fine. And probably should just put a anchor around here because as it stands I can't get out to this area very easily because I've enclosed the whole control room. Partly because I was standing in there for 24 hours and so I didn't want various mobs to randomly happen to spawn and manage to get up there and kill me. And I was literally away from the keyboard. Speaking of random mobs, thank you for showing up. But also because I think it makes more sense for the control room to actually be enclosed. Now, enough stalling. we're going to go to the end and we're going to get Distillators. And then we'll get started on the mid-game with making the vacuum freezer, which will give us access to tungsten steel and and titanium and a number of other important ingots. In order to progress, we'll work on the HV assembling machine, and then we'll get epoxy up and running. We'll do the micro components. We'll get Canthol, which is required to make the next tier of blast furnace, and then we can get some titanium once we can get that extra heat, and we'll make the oil rig and processing of oil. But we're not going to do all of that this episode, obviously. For now, just going to pop over to the end and see what we can see. And I see a dragon there. Okay. I thought he was moving particularly quickly. But... ooh. That was a mistake. I forgot that they exploded when you hit them, and clearly I did not have anywhere near enough health and life for that situation. That's one thing that the arrows would be particularly useful for. Now, I think I'm probably just going to have to pause while I make my way back to the base. It is only in there. It's not actually all that far to... oh, in fact, I don't even need to walk back because it's been more than 5 minutes, so I should just be able to use the home command, which will take us back to the void. And I believe inside the control room. Cool. Now, let's see if we'll grab some spare arrows while we're here, and then we'll grab a whole lot of cobblestone so that I can try to make my way up, just sort of nerd pole up to where my dead body is and get to my gravestone and be hopefully less of an idiot this time. That said, we actually are going to need to make even a pathway over to the end platform here, and that dragon could cause us some real trouble if he decides to attack us here. Now, up top there is where our body is, and there's some ender draconium ore, so we're going to have very easy access to draconium in just a moment. Oof. Yeah. Probably going to try that. So if I can get there, then I can press shift on my gravestone. Perfect. Come on. Good. And get the jetpack back. Perfect. Now, let's eat. I'm a little surprised that worked, really. Oh, I need to shoot a little above it. Good. I don't think we can get to that one without breaking it down. Although we can get all of the other ones easily first. Actually, I haven't played super much of vanilla Minecraft, and in like Enigmatica and things like that, it's much easier to get. It's got Tinker's Construct Plus and things, so it's much easier to get very strong weapons to use. Good, that'll work. To use for this dragon fight, to the point where the dragon fight's actually quite easy to just use a laser gun and it dies pretty quickly. But here we're going more of a vanilla with a jetpack, obviously, which you don't have in vanilla, but there we go. Now, No, not gonna hit it. No chance. Where are you? There. Good. That said, yeah, it is. It does seem like it's going to be a much more deadly fight than usual. But he won't be able to heal anymore. Now that we've taken out all the crystals, so it's just a matter of keeping the fight going, and we'll be dead. Or possibly are we dead? So it's just going to take one more round of that to take this guy out. When he's flying is quicker, bigger than his hitbox when he's or at least his collision box. Oh, I think we need to capture some dragon breath, don't we? I'm sure that's going to be a thing. Can't use that now. 1 second. Fine. Can use it now. Okay, let's look at dragon breath. Dragon's breath is used to make lingering potions. The end dragon bow is going to need dragon's breath, so... Oh, but we can get dragon's breath from the pristine, so that would have been an option. It is required to convert manulan dust into draconium dust. Yeah. Anyway, let's grab some bottles. Dragon breath is just made with glass bottles, yeah. And then I think I've got everything else that I need here. Perfect. So let's pop back over to the end and kill ourselves a dragon. Oh. Weird. For some reason it spawned us underneath the island. What is that? Paralite, Tantalite, Paralysite, Drusilla. Huh. Lots of walls here apparently. Yeah, hey dragon. Oh. Stop it, please. Now, we're not going to need those ender lilies. We've got so much ender pearls as it is. Yeah. Speed up. And then we'll see what we can do about grabbing some dragon breath. Thank you. Good. What do we get? 8. That is really good. Good. Now at this point, now we just need to kill dragon. 20 dragon breath. We should be fine. Yep. Good, he's going in for landing. Come on. What the hell? I think that was the dragon wrapping around. Can you stop being so loud, please? And there's a dead end dragon. Good. Now, this enderman is annoyed at me as well. And, good. What did we just get? Infinity booster card. Huh. I hadn't even looked at the requirements to make that. Huh. Because the wireless access point was difficult to make. A wireless receiver? Yeah, it needed the titanium plates, is why I hadn't actually even looked at making wireless yet, let alone the Infinity Booster card. So, there we go. Dragon Heart, Infinity Booster card, and somewhere around, there's a dragon egg. Now, step one, as always, make it move. I swear it just fell into the portal. What is that? Nickel nugget, fine. Where is the dragon egg? Because I think we need the dragon egg. At least it would be useful for the dragon mill. But I can't see it around. I thought it was meant to land sort of within one chunk of the pillar of where you touch it. Give me a moment and I'll be back in just a moment once I've figured out what's going on there. Possibly I might need to go through the portal because I saw it fall in there, but I didn't think it could go to the overworld. I thought it would just stay here. I will see you in just a moment once I've figured out what's going on. And here we are in the overworld with a dragon egg. So it looks like it did manage to fall through the portal to the other side. And we should be able to pick it up just by doing that. Perfect. And the Endermen look like they're having fun destroying the place, but we'll head back to the safety of our base. That said, I think we do need to head straight back to the Ender Dragon Trophy. Cool, let's put you here. Oh, that's pretty. That's cool. But yes, I think we have to head straight back to the Nether. Ooh, let's grab those arrows again. Cool. And not the Nether, the end, so that we can Dragon Egg Torch. Yep, good. Yeah, Dragon Egg Mill 500 GP. Cool, that's what I was sort of expecting. But we need to go to the Outer Islands to get some Draconium Dust, get some Chorus Flowers. Now, of course, we do already have Draconium Dust, but let's do it the proper way, because I'm sure we're going to need more than 12, I think it is, that we've got downstairs there. And the easy way is we're just going to be able to fly out to the Outer Islands, given we've got a wonderful jetpack here. Let's see, where's north? I tend to like going north, or going straight in an orthogonal direction, so that I can sort of find where I've gone. Because when you're flying out into the void, it's very easy to just get very lost as to where you are. I'm just going to pause, and I will see you in just a moment. And here we are, we're at the Outer Islands, and I do notice we've got the Draconic Evolution meteors spawning with lots and lots of Draconium ore. So this is probably the most efficient option for getting our Draconium dust. I do also note that I think I'm going to have to put Silk Touch onto my drill or find a better option. But for now, this is getting all the draconium dust that we need. Great. Good. Now, the other thing we needed was, I think it was some chorus fruit, which we can see right down here, available. One thing that does feel very weird is the fact that there's no ender bees, which is normally a thing that you have to deal with in modded Minecraft. But not having forestry does make that a non-issue. Popped chorus fruits, no chorus flowers, perfect. And then break that down and we get chorus fruits, perfect. In fact, if we do that, a whole lot of chorus fruit, perfect. Grab a little bit more draconium ore over here, just because I can see it there. And then the last thing I'm going to do is head up to a few of these pirate ships, or ender ships, and grab some elytra as well. Because I'm sure that we are going to want elytra at some point. While we're here, might as well grab, there we go, the alchemy stands as well. But you, thank you, good. Perfect. And there's elytra, which I'm sure is going to be used for some things. Advanced hang gliders use them. The dark steel upgrade for elytra uses it. Opinion cores use it. And that looks like it's probably it. So there's not actually anywhere near as much gated behind it, I don't think, in this mod pack as there is in a number of others. But just having a quick look, don't see anything else that looks particularly interesting. So I think I did see that, yeah, some of these recipes require 2 elytra. So, and quite possibly we're going to need lots and lots of those. Elytra can be made with elytra wings and glider wings. And elytra wings are made with palladium and exquisite emeralds, which I'm sure we will get to at some point. But I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. And I might just grab a second elytra, or elytra, as I've heard some famous personalities describe it. And then I will be heading back to the overworld base and looking to see what we can do about getting the dislocator, which chorus flowers, draconium dust, blaze powder. Very easy. We'll be able to get those dislocators up and running as soon as I head back to our void base. So I will see you in the next episode, which will not actually be very long in the future. It's probably only going to be 20 minutes between now and when I record that episode, but I will see you in the next one. Stay happy and healthy.